Welcome to the coverage of this 8:27. Oh,
do you know how to talk?
I've lost the words already.
No.
We've just been discussing the 8:20 match, I should be saying, the semi-final, not the between St. Therese's and Netblacks. There's a lot of sounds going on there that maybe I need to practice my enunciation of. We'll go through the lineup for both sides. St. Therese's goal shooter, we have Connor Lilly. Goal attack, Tom Hardwick. Wing attack, Jaden Cowling. Centre, Riley Richardson. Wing defence, James Sutton. Goal defence, Tristan Comans. Goalkeeper, James Hedricks. For the Netblacks, we've got goal shooter, Junior Levy. Goal attack, Brandon Demont. Wing attack, Jesse Fayler. Centre, Deepak Patu. Wing defence, Nathan Selvage. Goal defence, Jake Schuster. And goalkeeper, Asa Alafayo. Welcome back, Em.
Thank you. Good to be back.
It's been so long since we've commentated together. Positively minutes.
I've missed you so much.
I'm glad to hear it. As St. Therese get their first centre pass turned over for Netblacks. Long ball in from Deepak.
Beautiful tip by Jake there. Another jumping specialist.
Absolutely another jumping specialist. And can't miss him with the blonde hair at the moment.
Yeah, I like it. I'm liking the tips. It's bringing like real 1990s back or something.
I'll bring back the frosted
tips all the way.
First
right?
goal there to Connor Lilly. They managed to get the turnover back in their direction. So one goal back with the centre pass.
That's a very high ball. He's done it again, Jake. Not easy to do against Junior because he is obviously a very tall person.
And probably evidence for Netblacks that they're just trying to force it early, which they don't need to.
Not needed.
Yes, you got Junior Levy in there and goal shooter, and he's a fair target, but work yourself to circle edge, especially early. Those ones will start opening up.
That does wonders as a defensive unit for Jake to get those early. Put the doubt in the feeder's mind. Maybe not force it up to Junior, which is going to...
And also a bit of confidence as a defender. You get a couple of early tips, then all of a sudden you start finding your timing a lot better.
Fancy footwork there to keep it in. Netblacks were able to get the ball.
End up being quite a long lead there from Tom Hardwick. A little bit too much on it from Connor Lilly. Nice little give and go, Jake Schuster.
Another high ball again.
Of the passes that have gone in, that was probably the one that was most on. It was just a bit too much air on it.
A bit too high. Very strong pressure early, though, from St. Therese's here. Is it St. Therese or St. Therese's?
St. Therese's.
Okay.
I believe. As in it's the club of St. Therese. The patron saint of netball, I believe St. Therese is.
Patron saint of netball?
Yeah, don't quote me on it, but we will claim that that's the case.
Where the team name came from.
I'm not sure there is a patron saint of netball, but there should be. Yeah.
Full name.
It does come from the St. Therese's Parish Netball Club, I believe, is where it's originated from.
The real details of the clubs here.
Knowing the random aspects is what I unfortunately do know. And Tristan Coleman's been caught with the contact outside the circle, giving the nice easy feeds for Levi in the circle. We are sitting 3 goals to 2. Sorry, 2 goals all. Getting there slightly ahead of myself. Jaden Cowling finds himself on the ground.
On the floor there. Bounces up quickly, something that I'm not very good at.
It was almost a dance routine, how quickly that got up. Connor Lilly, unfortunately, not able to finish off there for St. Therese. The very experienced Asa Alafeo driving through.
Like his steady nature there, not forcing it. Always there as a backup as well. Not able to get the ball down, though. They've passed it back to the goalkeeper how many times now?
The one good thing you'd say, though, is they weren't forcing any of those balls through. There's plenty of patience. They weren't afraid to kick it back. And the off-circle feed. Okay, Hedricks just caught a little bit behind there, which can be difficult with Levi. Another goal scored for him. 3 goes to centre pass to Netblacks. Very clear indication of where he wants it. Almost got around there, Jake Hedricks. Well positioned there, Junior Levi. And unfortunately can't give them multiple penalties in this circle. It's just going to be scored straight away. as we do sit 4 goals, 2-2, Netblacks way. Centre pass to St. Therese. Just struggling with circle edge here a little bit, St. Therese.
Which is interesting because Jaden and Riley are obviously very agile, quick players, can hit circle edge quite easily, but the Netblacks are doing well to hold them up and keep them off circle edge.
Yeah, slightly different physical bodies against them than maybe they've been used to in the past. Terrific take there, Connor Lilly. Not afraid to try and take in the air despite the body coming at him. Sitting only the 1 goal the difference. 5 minutes gone. Nice steady scoring for the first 5 minutes in the relative scheme of things. Nothing too much going on. Not fast scoring, but nice and patient. There's some interesting acting ability there. Someone should maybe tell Tom that it was the Grammys that were just on and not the Oscars.
Beyonce with a title. What is it? Most Grammys ever won.
Well,
very impressive.
Yes, we did have some people on court who think they can sing possibly and dance as well as it. And
physical tussle
contest.
there.
Body's just going hard at it.
Which I like to see. It's what finals is about.
Putting your body on the line. You say it to teams at times as coaches, want to see you put your body on the line going for intercepts, but not everyone follows that.
It's not about obviously being reckless. It's just if you're going for a ball, go hard and pull it in with 2 hands. So often the umpires will see that you're going for it with 2 hands and give you that call.
And if you go in a strong line to the ball, that's always going to help you with that intercept as well. We're just forcing the ball over there with the contest there. Tristan Coleman did well to just stay with the body.
Clean.
And as a defender, if you're keeping your attacker staying on the one line, that can help you. St. Therese is getting caught up a bit in trying to play at a different speed. They are a fast side. Getting caught up in, if that's not working, what is the next step? 4 goals St. Therese, 5 goals Netblack. It is with Netblack's centre pass. Still very early days in this tight contest.
Jake probably just getting a little bit stuck behind the body there. Needs to go back to being in front because that's what worked for him at the start of this quarter.
Force the ball over. Yeah.
That's right. Back himself. He can obviously get up for those. So.
And the more they're keeping them off the circle, the more they're forcing that long ball, which gives every opportunity. Nice easy rotation there. Just glided in, Tom Hardwick. Unfortunate not to finish shot, just falling short. And crushing the boards there from Schuster and Alafalo. Some good releases here from Netblacks.
Can't do much about that as a goalkeeper in that instance.
Absolutely not. The ball was just getting released to the next option, who was just timing it very well. And Netblacks are coached by one of your teammates there.
They are. I had a chat to her about it before. Tried to get a few names. I've forgotten already.
Did you get all of the inside word of what the tactics were?
She didn't give much away, actually. She was very hush-hush, so I think she doesn't want me going on the commentary and
give all of the secrets
away.
So shout out to Rani Samuelson, who is coach of Netblacks. And it's terrific to see some of our Vixens players giving back to our men's competition. We do appreciate the time. For coming along.
It's great. And I love, we have a lot of the men come in and help us with our training environment, which we get a lot of benefit out of. So that's why we keep calling them back, because we get so much out of it. Just adds that different element. It's very challenging for us to provide that different sort of game.
And we look forward to continuing that partnership for a long time to come as well.
I hope so.
As Netblacks look at boosting the lead up. Just rimming in there, Brandemont. He's a subtle shooter as a goal attack, Brandemont. Can find his way into space, but more than capable of sinking the shots. Nice high ball attempt.
Very high ball. It's very floaty. It's in the air for about 35 seconds before it gets into Junior's hands.
And certainly having to work hard for it, Junior, there. Wasn't an easy take by any means. The contest from defence is working very hard. There was good use of body from Connor Lilly in there. He kept his body open to where the ball was going, which meant that Schuster had to try and work around back.
I actually played on Connor last week at training. It's a little bit unorthodox in the way he plays, but I thought he was very strong and dominant in the goal circle, so I do like what he puts out there as a goal attack.
And still one of our relatively young players, moved up to 23s team this year, having played 20s at the last championships. We have seen a change from Netblacks, so maybe a bit of a proactive change here from Rani. She's put Kai Suzuki into goal attack out the front. Brandon DeMont has come off. Different style player to DeMont, so we'll see how this works for Netblacks.
That was a lot more of a flatter pass into Junior then. It wasn't as loopy, it was more of a direct. Still got the height on it, but more of a direct, harder pass.
And the direct can work for that feed. People assume just because he's so tall that you need to give it really high. That's certainly not the case.
Tried to be a little bit too tricky there, Jaden, I think. Tried to do what was in the previous match.
As wing attack, sometimes you're better off landing for that moment. Seeing the opportunity there, Tom Hardwick. Little sneaky pass off the post. Both defenders just caught facing the opposite direction. Very sneaky indeed.
Their bench definitely got around that one.
And it is one you have to score off because everyone's going to let you know if you haven't.
Whole teammate.
Feeling maybe a slight momentum shift with St. Therese after that couple on. Their voices got up a little bit and then call going their way on the centre pass. And that all of a sudden,
there.
5 goals from Tom Hardwick. It's bringing it back to 2 goals of difference. Centre pass with St. Therese, 10-8, Netblacks way. They're going to want to score here to make sure they've consolidated. Beautiful open.
All net.
St. Therese are working best when they're separating the defenders and making them commit to something out wide. I was about to say lovely take, but nicely brought in the end.
No one really near him, so maybe feeling the pressure a little bit down there.
And perhaps maybe thinking had it in his hands a bit earlier than he did. Whilst that ended up being a lovely feed, that was a great drive there. Riley Richardson to the top of the circle. I thought that ball maybe should have gone there for a slightly easier feed. Unfortunate miss there, St. Therese, as Netblacks look at delivering it through quickly. But nice backup, Nathan Selvage, former Victorian 23s player. That was just smart positioning, Deepak Patu to turn with the ball. Probably one you don't want to draw attention to outside the circle there, because there's a lot going on in the circle. You want to make sure you're not drawing the umpire's attention away from that. It may take away from a call that could end up going your way. But Riley Richardson come off a great season with the Australian men's side, having played some games ahead of the Diamonds and in the independent fixture with New Zealand.
How good was that to see as well? I saw the game in Melbourne before the Diamonds and absolutely loved watching the guys out there putting on some amazing netball. And seeing the crowds rock up early to see that as well. I thought that was really cool to see.
And just that familiarisation that's now coming with the men's game. People are starting to see that it is a thing. Long ball just forced it a little bit there. No option coming forward. That people are recognising that the men's games does exist. It's been around for a long time. But if you can't be what you can't see, and we're now getting to young boys get the opportunity to see idols grow up. They get to see the likes of the Brodie Roberts that we had in the game before. A Riley Richardson here. Playing for New Zealand, we had Deepak Padu, we had Junior Levi, we had Jake Schuster. So we've got people on court here, 4 people to look up to for their future, not just people within the game themselves. And whilst we've just got the umpire's time there, we see the replay from Tom Hardwick doing a nice job of being able to throw it back in off the foot.
It's a long bomb here, doesn't quite pay off. Oh! Is that allowed? I'm not sure, but...
Unable to finish. He did so well to get back on court there. I thought he may have ended up sinking it. Umpire Joel Owen deeming him definitely back on court. And that huge split of Junior Levy.
It's like a Janelle Fowler split. At the top of the circle, but somehow ends up under the post. We have a technical issue here.
Yeah,
shoe coming off.
yeah, which some people don't realise is a rule within netball. It is considered equipment shoes. There's a subtle one for you if you need a time. Throw off your shoe.
You're full of fun facts today.
I know the
learned
ways
so
of getting away with some. It used to be a great way of extending the year-old 2-minute injury time. Throw your shoe on
my
court.
shoes off.
Great jump, Jake Schuster. And just rooming out there, Tom Hardwick.
Very nice rebound. Two hands ripped it in strong.
And that is
Definitely
something that
was his
Schuster
ball.
does. So he goes just strong at the ball every single time. There is no doubt he wants it, which St. Therese are going to have to do more of.
Very
'cause they
high
want
ball there.
just getting a little bit of a run on.
St. Therese will look to work this down the court.
And
Using
there's
all channels.
beautiful use of that wide channel. Sometimes go across the mess. We spoke about that last game. Well done, they salvaged. There's under a minute to go. There is 4 goals to difference. Still a very tight match here. St. Therese would want to score at least one more goal here to bring the margin back to the quarter time break. Netblacks wanting the stop. Lovely finish there, Tom Hardwick.
30 seconds, plenty of time to score. What can both teams do here?
And good circle edge. That's exactly what
very
Netblacks
well
needed
there.
to do. And through the top of the circle superbly. You don't want that easy feed into Junior.
Oh, maybe a little bit of a deliberate hit
Yeah,
over
just
there. Just
forehand down the line.
hold
but
the time up a little
The umpire
bit.
immediately recognised what was going on. That's not the way you delay play in a
Make it a
good
little
way.
less obvious, I think.
Yeah, the subtle move of the ball
It's gone for like
might
a
have got away
volleyball
with it.
spike there.
A couple more seconds.
They're
But
able to
worth a
score.
try. Got to get a release and a shot or draw a call.
2 seconds. Not quite
Unable to
get it.
capitalise, unfortunately. But that does leave us at quarter time. 14 goals to Netblacks, 10 goals to St. Therese. We'll be joining you again after the break.
I'll make sure I cover back. You just got to have my...
That does wonders as a defensive unit for Jake to get those early. Put the doubt wonders as a defensive unit for Jake to get those early. Put the doubt in the feeder's mind. Maybe not fancy footwork there to keep it in. Netblacks were able to get
Some
there.
good releases here from Netblacks.
Talked to her about it before. Tried to get a few names. I've forgotten already.
Did you
She, she doesn't want me going on the commentary and
give
giving
all of
all
the
the
secrets,
secrets.
continuing that partnership for a long time to come as
I
well?
hope so.
As in that moment, they can seeing the opportunity there. Then Tom Hardwick, little sneaky pass off the post. Independent fixture with New Zealand.
How good was that to see as well?
The young boys get the opportunity to see idols grow up. They get to see the likes of the Brody Roberts. Great jump, Jake Schuster. And just rooming out there, Tom Hardwick.
Very nice rebound.
That wide channel sometimes go across the mess. We spoke about that last game. Well done, they salvaged.
So that's how we got quality. It's just athleticism. Yeah.
But you're saying
And whenever we start to really have it just whenever
what is Nate doing for that?
remember you're just coming towards me.
You're on those ones with pronouns, right? We're just a little bit loose. Yeah. I need to be on.
Welcome back to the State Netball Centre for this semi-final between Netblacks and St. Therese. We're just about to start the second quarter here, and it is a do-or-die match. We've got 4 goals of difference, Netblacks' way, and it is their centre pass. What did you take from that first quarter, Em?
I thought it was quite good by both teams. I feel like both teams were trying to settle in. I thought early defensively from St. Teresa's was very good. Jake got his hands to a lot of ball down in that defence end, and then they were able to find Junior a little bit easily, just like that ball there. The middies were able to work the circle edge and put in a little bit of a better feed, but again, it's only 5 goals, so I feel like that's been a bit of the story of the night, 5 goals.
Yeah, it was certainly the margin for most of the last game, and Nate Selvage doing a great job of contesting that with Jaden Cowling, as former teammates for both Victoria and Australia in the 23s division. Oh,
Lovely
not
front
enough
position.
on that pass. Great job by Asa Alafaga. Was very vintage him. Very good at contesting the body.
High ball by Deepak there.
Very high ball by Deepak. And he's so experienced at feeding Junior Levy.
They've played together for a while.
They played together in Queensland before. They played together for New Zealand. A lot of experience in that combination together.
Can't underestimate that connection as well between a mid-court player and a goaler.
No, you can very much see the difference between combinations that have just had that extra little bit of experience. So much goes unsaid between them. And you'd find that yourself in defence at times. Obviously, the experience that you guys have had, like in particular with Joe Weston, you guys have played together for so many years through state program, and
Probably a bit too long.
you don't need to talk as much because it just happens at times.
Sort of know where they're going to be sometimes. Sometimes we still get confused with each other, but that's all right. It's going to happen.
And Netblacks coming out absolutely roaring at the start of this quarter, 2 minutes in with the first 3 goals. St. Therese yet to score in this quarter. They will look at consolidating. Much better to see them going through the top of the circle again.
See, they're doubling Connor there and leaving Tom out on his own, but he's been a very good shooter this last quarter, so I'm surprised that they're leaving him all on his lonesome.
Well, he has done most of the workload. And whilst you don't want to let the other goaler into the game too much, if a goaler has been missing a couple of shots, sometimes you're better off forcing them to be the one to put up a couple more. They do need to score those St. Therese after a turnover. The Netblacks unable to bring it in. And great movement around the body. Asa just working his arm and the body to make sure he got Connor Lilly in the position he wanted, with a throw in for St. Therese.
They really need to score here because it's obviously hard to get ball down in that defence end with a big goal shooter like Junior. So Jake did a really good job there. They want to reward him. They're not able to reward him.
And what we're talking about before from Jake Schuster, so strong going for those rebounds. That two-handed rip,
Those
just
quads
able to take it over Connor Lilly, hands down. But it was good to see an actual contest for the rebounds. We haven't seen that quite so much down the St. Therese attacking end. The goal's been slightly hesitant to go for that rebound, and quite probably because Schuster is so strong on it. Forcing a long way out there, Junior Levy.
Bit of speed there, actually. Get back in the circle.
He can put on that short burst of speed quite well. It is a very long way out for a shooter, particularly of that height to come out, but when needed, you do need a connection sometimes.
Makes the goalkeeper think a little bit more as well.
Well, as a goalkeeper, you're thinking, am I going to pick him up on entry? Am I picking him up earlier than that? What's the other goaler doing when they've come out? We're looking a little bit short on the shot there, Tom Hardwick. You can see him wanting to push that a little bit more. 6 goals difference, Netblacks with the centre pass once again.
Oh, that's a hard hit on the floor, Tom.
And we do see that contest once again. The hand coming around, and Kai Suzuki unable to continue his position there. Got taken out of it slightly by Tristan Comans, which did result in what we've now got the mopping of the floor, which we don't want to see players end up slipping on.
No,
So it seems
better
it
to
is a
stop
safety
play.
issue.
Need the mops though.
Oh, look, I don't think we get that glory. That was superbly kept in.
Amazing effort there by Jake to keep that
And great
in.
back up.
Oh, this is where they need to
quite as
steady.
good on the next pass.
Work it down to circle edge and score off this.
And they need to get off the sideline.
They are stuck all on that sideline.
So our refeed, our re-offer, all were on the sideline. Need to look at bringing that lateral ball, bring it back to middle. So much stronger through the middle, St. Therese.
Gonna want to reward this. It's a lovely shot.
Yeah, much better finish there from Tom Hardwick.
Bit
Corrected
of
that
momentum
earlier.
here for St. Teresa's.
5 goals of difference. The margin that we've been saying
All
both the
night.
games. Literally all
All night.
night. Can someone break that 5-goal hoodoo? That's the question. Got the contact just inside. Can sink this shot. Whilst can sink it, I think as midcourt you need to get better position off of the re-offer. And as a goal shooter, where are you trying to open for that?
Yes.
Just setting the penalty there, our umpire Amy Winchkin. We've got 2 very experienced umpires of the men's game on here. Both umpired numerous M-League and Australian Championship games. So we're very fortunate to have them.
Do you find umpiring the men's different to umpiring women and girls?
I haven't done a lot of the men's game, having played in a bit of it. I have had the opportunity to umpire some of the men versus Silver Ferns and Diamonds many years ago. And it is different in terms of what you're looking at and some of the contesting. And as umpires tend to anticipate a little bit that you can't bring that whistle to your mouth assuming something's going to happen quite the same way. But the women's game has progressed a lot in that space in terms of contest and what people go for as well. So I do think it makes a bit of a difference there. I think it can help your umpiring of the women's game because it allows you to see some of those contests a bit more clearly. And we do talk about the games being slightly different and at times the men's game being a different style of athleticism. But there can be a lot more going on behind the scenes regardless of who you're umpiring. But some of that long ball you don't get quite as much in the women's game, like we've seen the balls into junior levy. And speaking of the long
feed.
ball,
Oh,
Hendricks
Falcon, but they've managed to get it. It's lovely.
also doing really well, despite only getting the first hand and tapping into his teammate, realising that it was coming back to him.
Want to work at the circle edge here and not force it in. Obviously, they don't have that tall target, St. Teresa's. Very different to Netblacks.
No, they do
beautiful
rely on a
feed.
much more moving circle. They have players who can hold, but it's a different style hold than having the tall in there. At the moment, they've got to capitalise on their shot, especially that mid-range.
It's a lovely high shot.
The other thing that's happening with St. Therese at the moment, we've seen Tom Hardwick score all of the goals for this quarter. As goalers, you've got to recognise working your other goaler into it. It's now been 7.5 minutes without a score from the other goaler. They're going to lose their range if you don't work them back into it. Slightly different from the Netblacks in that they've got the safety of the target. So as a goal attack at the front, you're not relying on putting up as many shots, and we've seen that. They don't tend to put up as many shots. And here, got to make the defenders commit. And we excuse the commentary interruption for a
I
moment.
know,
As
Jiva Mentors has poked me in the back behind. She walks past.
former Vixens player herself, now with Collingwood, and I'm sure we could get her to talk about the successful training partner program that we've got with some of our players playing for Collingwood. But great to see her down here watching some of the games as well, as we do see a replay call for St. Therese.
Oh,
And
bit of a fumble there by Deepak.
yeah, a rare mishandle by Deepak there. But he's straight into position defensively. They're setting up a little bit of box setup. They will play a bit of the body, but also have a go. Oh, I thought that was going to be picked off Jake Schuster.
He thought about it. Oh,
And
the
the
splits. Jeez, I'll busted both hips doing that.
Oh, I would
Don't
not
have
be
the-
getting back up from that, even when I was younger. There is no way. They'd be calling for someone to come.
After
Get me
2
off.
hip surgeries, Matt, my hips are definitely not too flash.
Now, we have seen the margin come back that little bit, 17-19. Netblacks still with the 2-goal buffer. Long ball, two-man pressure. Jake Hedrick's trying to do everything he can to get up.
Oh, nice try. Not quite. Can't quite hit the ball out of someone's hands.
I did like the recognition that he went, oh, it might be going to ground. I'll try.
It's worth a shot.
So they're just asking for where the splits occurred to be wiped up.
Wipe up those splits.
That is a crucial spot to get cleaned because we know how goalers can be with their
Just
goal
let them go.
circle.
Let them go.
They need their moment. And taking the opportunity to also wipe the ball at the other end here. I
it's
imagine there's some sweaty bodies out
Bit
there.
of a breather as well for both teams, just to take a breath, reset. Smart move.
And we don't have the rolling subs that can give a bit of a breather to the player. Certainly not this season. It was introduced at the men's Australian Championships this year for the first time and likely to be there again. So we may see it in Emily in the future.
I really like that change. I always used to really regret having to call an injury timeout to come off. I'd always fake some sort of injury with my finger or something. I think we're past that. I think we need to adapt the game, and I think that's a really good addition is having those rolling subs. It's smooth.
And do you find, particularly in your game, because you have the 2-goal and the 1-goal thing, it's much easier having the rolling sub to just roll on that change of side that you will use for the 2-goal attempts versus the 1-goal.
I think it's a really, really good addition to the game. Obviously, we still have timeouts, tactical timeouts that we're able to call. Oh, Riley just coming through, very easily read there. Read it like a book. St. Teresa's steam down the court.
And just going flying through Jesse Failer with the offside and the contact. I must admit, I was sceptical of rolling subs to a degree, and I saw them work very well at Australian Championships. And certainly across a tournament, it works very well. I do love a good grind out for 15 minutes. So there is something about watching teams play that grinded out and not
trying to figure it out.
And not try and have players just find an excuse to sort it out. Yeah, you have to figure it out. We're still at that 2-goal difference, 4 minutes left. It's been much more St. Teresa's quarter, this one, than Netblacks. Bit more defensive pressure. Definitely came off Riley Richardson's hands, despite all the players trying to point in the direction Jolo
I think that's
not
also
fast.
sparking the energy, though. I feel like that.
Try and get your players up and about.
Yep, and they've caused a turnover from that. A lot more vocal St. Teresa's than Netblacks at the moment.
And not every player is a up and about style player. Some are very insular when they play. Whereas Riley Richardson isn't up and about, try and get people involved as he can't quite balance his feet. Nate Selvage getting straight on it with it despite the contact.
Oh, a little bit late there.
And probably not the best one to go for as a goal defence if you've lost your time in it. Although, if you get good hands over here, you may get an opportunity for your goalkeeper to get a good hunt.
See Jake right out of the circle here, trying to keep Junior high.
And it was
Trying to
interesting
force him
positioning within the circle. Junior brought himself very high, was trying to set a screen, almost like he wanted Kai to drop into complete backspace. Which it can be difficult to see that feed over someone of that
is
size.
true.
You can't necessarily see the space.
Beautiful drive by Jaden to the pocket.
Probably want to see Tom Hardwick, despite the contact, rip that really in strong. Because you're not always going to get that call even if it's there. Partly because of the position, partly the timing. Umpires haven't always found the way around that goal line. Position's a difficult one to call. Still back at the 2 goals. Netblacks having a little bit of trouble feeding it through. But again, patience from their defenders. Nice take by Deepak.
Just played on quickly.
And just got hands on James Sutton. Incredible take.
Gee whiz. A few bodies flying around down there. It's getting a little bit physical.
Jake Hedrick's completely lost with what just happened.
It's been winded, I reckon.
He's like, was I pushed? But complete contest. Riley Richardson doing one of his trademark run-ons that he does at occasional centre passes, which can catch your attackers out of position if you're not careful. Sometimes forgets how fast he is.
A bit of a crucial miss there.
Yeah.
Really need to consolidate that.
This might push it back out to 4 goals, which would be the biggest margin it's been for quite a while in this quarter. just under a minute and a half to go. And if Netblacks score here, they've also got the centre pass, which means that magical 5 number.
Not again. St. Therese say no.
And there's no need for a rush in here. Nice off and on the circle, but need to see Riley coming back around because
Everyone's
Jaden's...
very stagnant at the moment. I feel like everyone's sitting in the space. They need to be moving. Obviously, they don't have that tall target, so they need to be moving to be creating space and options.
Yeah, what work is working for you, and then what can you do slightly different to make it work for you? Their workload, considering it's a small circle, is most of the goals go into the goal attack, which is unusual in a smaller circle. It's expected to be a little bit more even in the scoring.
Tippy toes there by Junior. Nearly was out of court, managed to keep it in.
Yeah, managed to stay between what you can see the basketball lines here. Although it is blasphemy to mention the basketball lines at a state netball centre. But we won't go into those details. At least the netball ones are the predominant white that we see.
It's not like at school when you've got about 35 different lines and you don't know where.
And unsure what sport some of them are even for. 2 goals, looking to get the 3, getting the tap. Will he score? Just in time. That was very quickly, and smart awareness of time from Junior Levy. That pushes it out to 3 goals, 25 goals Netblacks, 22 St. Therese's. That is halftime here at State Netball Centre. We'll join you again soon.
First phase much better in that quarter. Okay, I think on the whole a lot more ball to back. I think there's a lot more turnover to the discipline 1-on-1. I think on a turnover, goal attack, wing attack, discipline 1-on-1, all the way through. Because as soon as we release that easy sideline, that's when they can look wrong again. That makes things hard for everyone. So I think just do the work for 2, 3. Often we're not getting intercepts in the back. Over transition play, they're going out of court. Okay, or they're being sailed over the top, so it's just pressure, and you don't necessarily have to get the ball, but go hard on your defense. I thought we moved the ball around a lot better. I thought we were a lot smarter with the ball. I thought we used the reset to great effect in that quarter. And that's something that we need to keep doing in this game if we want to be successful. Okay? Just stay positive, okay? There's a lot of things to do in this quarter. What do you think? You got my towel, bro? I want Rowan Golden and I want Therese at wing defense. Can we do that? Alright. You're going to get out of here, have a rest. You do anything. Get up pressure.
here at State Netball Centre. Welcome back to the semi-final between Netblacks and St. Therese, where it is about to become 2 goals the difference. And you do see that it has been a change to St. Therese. Former Victorian Open player Tim Walker, who's returned to the court this year, is on a goal shooter. We've seen Connor Lilly move out to goal attack. We've also seen in goal defence Ronan Pringle. Sorry, Ronan Pring. I've got to say Pringle because he does have the
Pringles.
nickname Pringles on some of his social media. The other change we have seen is Deepak Patu go into goal attack, Kai Suzuki go into centre for Netblacks. So just a bit of a change of personnel there. Both teams recognising that they need to do something slightly different. It is interesting that St. Therese have taken Tom Hardwick off, given that he was the predominant scorer.
Interesting move.
Junior Levy just
Barging his way through a little bit there.
helping himself through might be the word
I'll
I'll
go with that.
go with.
Helping. I like that.
But Jesse Phelan managing to find just near the circle edge. And
An easy
nice
shot
little
for
finish.
Junior.
That's magical 5-goal margin is back again,
That number.
which sees us sitting there at the 3 goals to the 1 at the moment. St. Therese opting for that fresh leg approach in defence with Ronan Pring. We'll see how this goes in the goal circle for St. Therese. Certainly making a commitment to a bit of a different tool. Tim can put on volume when needed, but hasn't played a lot of this season. Came in partway through. Oh, great contest. Connor
Nice
really getting
rebound
upset
there
with
by
himself.
Asa.
A lot of goalers do try and do that out of bounds style, keep it in. Sometimes I think they're better off trying to find their balance again.
But that wouldn't look as good, would it?
It would never look good. It doesn't make the highlights real. And they probably don't practice it quite as much as the glory shot. Junior Levy back outside circle.
Nice hit there by Riley. Disrupting play a little bit.
Just getting something. Oh, we have actually had Tristan Comans move into wing defence, replacing James Sutton as well. I only just realised that with that penalty. And Deepak Patu was waiting for that pass to open. Can shoot himself more than capably.
Goes for the offload.
29-23 with the centre pass. And managing to cause the untouched call, covering the line quite well, forcing both players out to the one side. That's great defence. Ooh, just
Bit of an
forcing it a
overfall.
little bit too much over there. Jaden trying to keep his run going whilst also bringing in just a little bit too much on it. Terrific contest by Ronan Pring, just having the run with Deepak Patu then.
I
It's
was
great-
going to say patient play then, but until that pass where they had to go long,
It was absolutely patient play until that pass.
until that pass.
And maybe didn't need Deepak to come up as high as that. When you're nearing the centre line as a goaler, you're probably getting up a little bit too high. And strong take on the sideline. Jake Hedrick's been quite conscious trying to keep Junior Levy outside the circle now that he's out there. Both goalers outside. Just drawing the obstruction, Connor Lilly, which is a shame when you've got the pressure building and building.
I thought the pressure was really good there by St. Therese's. Everyone was on their player doing the work, just that release of that contact.
In discussions on court, as a group defensive unit, the whole side, is that part of your strategy for the Vixens to really build pressure.
I think so. And as soon as, you know, that one player's out of play, it does release that pressure and the team can sort of reset and go. So I feel like you want to build that pressure. You want to be going for the ball, but you want to be staying in play. So our attackers do a lot of work on trying to hold that up and staying in play. It's something we've been working on at the moment. So there's nothing better than when you turn over the ball and your goal shooter gets an intercept and shoots the ball. So,
and then manage to capitalise on the next goal where possible as well to build leads. I imagine that's a target when you're getting those opportunities as well, especially with the 2 goals when they come in, is to build leads.
That old 2-point shot can get you, can hurt you in a matter of, well, seconds sometimes. It's getting a little bit physical out there.
Yeah, just caught up with trying to push off the body, which you don't always necessarily do it, and sometimes it's seen where the other player has moved away. Got to rip in. How would you say this change has worked or not worked for St. Therese so far in the goal circle?
I don't know if they've... I'm going to, of course, I go and say something and then they do a perfect feed. I don't think they've used Tim as well. I don't know if Tim's presenting for that ball as well, but I feel like they haven't really utilised that height as well. I don't know also if the defenders are doing a really good job of disrupting that. Like I said, that's just been overfed a little bit there. I don't think they're really making the most of that tall shooter in Tim. Like they need to maybe work at circle edge to give a better feed than forcing that one in.
And it's so much easier to feed the tall from the circle edge. The defenders have to work that much harder. As we sit at 30 goals, 225. Netblacks have still got the lead. 8 minutes, 40 seconds to go. I'd be intrigued to see whether St. Therese look at bringing Tom Hardwick back on just to give a bit more punch out at the front, or even push Jaden Cowlin into goal attack as an option there, just to provide a different option.
Fancy footwork there by Jake, but just wasn't
just
quite able to get around
able
the body.
to work the feet beautifully with the body there.
That's all you can ask for, really, from your keeper in that instance, is work your feet around, try your hardest.
St. Therese starting to pick up a few penalties in the defensive end now. Probably need to do less to attract the whistle and more to show that they're going for the clean contest.
That's how you build the pressure as well. You need to be able to build that pressure to turn over ball.
I feel every time that you're getting a whistle called against you, that pressure's not building the same way,
Correct.
is it? Whereas the more that the whistle's kept away, the more passes you've got to give in, the more chance that a turnover is coming. While some sports it's about keeping possession, netball's arguably about fewer possessions can get you the score quicker and less chance of a turnover. Bit of a double team there, not quite working. Riley Richardson throwing his body at almost everything. Again, we're getting a bit too much whistle here from St. Therese, which is then giving Netblacks that easy opportunity on the edge of the circle for a lovely feed in.
And we can't have our mid-quarters out of play outside the circle, as then there's no hands over the pass for the pressure to be putting to Junior there. So they really need to stay in play to put hands over pressure, so they have to lift that ball up, give the defenders the best hope of getting the ball.
The ball sits that much lower otherwise, doesn't it?
Correct.
And I'm not sure that Tim Walker wasn't looking at taking that penalty when it was that far out. Lily should have recognised that that was occurring and gone, I will take this, so Tim can be in the better position rather than trying to set up the screen for himself. And part of that is because he's been playing that holding role with Tom Hardwick out the front of him. As that boosts St. Therese to 27.
Still a 6-goal margin with 6 minutes to go.
Oh, forcing across the circle. Not
Unlucky.
quite able to. Deepak Patu, very good at finding the loose ball on the ground. Just managed to launch an arm at it at the right time. We know where the ball wants to be going. Not quite opening up. left that to the last possible moment to give the pass off. Just waiting for the open. 34-27. As we see that cross-court ball then go between the legs on the replay. If I was St. Therese here, I'd look at making a change to just bring something different to that attack line. At the moment, they're struggling for a different punch. Whether that's pushing Tom Hardwick even into wing attack, whether it's moving Jaden Cowan into goals, bringing Tom Hardwick back into goals.
Just lost that punch and that definite, I guess, moves down in that
Someone
attacking
being the
end.
creator at that end is what they need. They're certainly getting vocal when they're getting calls their way, but when the calls aren't going their way, they're struggling that little bit. Just working a lot through Riley Richardson through that mid-court there, that centre third, which he's so good at, but they need to have the other defenders bringing it down a little bit more for them. Lovely finish.
Back to 5. St. Teresa's centre pass here. Bring the margin a little bit closer.
And we talk about crucial moments in games. Netball, this is one of those.
It's probably the easiest passage to play for a little while now for this.
Straight
St.
through the top of the
Teresa's team.
circle. Beautiful open.
Very direct.
And that's consolidating a turnover, is when you score your centre pass afterwards as well. Netblacks will want to score this and possibly get a turnover themselves. A long way out for a goal defence to be caught.
When I'm in goalkeeper and our goal defence gets out of play, I'm like, oh gosh.
I imagine there is some choice words and some interesting looks.
What are you doing? Oh, almost a bit of a tunnel there.
Yeah, the timing was just so possibly stepped across before, found the body there. Every single person on the bench in the crowd yelling pass, 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 yet the defender not recognising the pass and possibly better off staying grounded for a little bit longer, force a shot, may get it in. Our feeds have
another
not been
misfeed,
great.
no.
Yeah. They don't know where to give it at the moment to Tim Walker, and part of that is when you're a part season versus a full season together.
Do you think that's Tim's body position?
I think there's a combination effect. I think they haven't been used to having him there for. He's only played part of the season for them. Came in only partway through, so used to a different combination. So that it is partly body position, partly that goal with familiarity that we've spoken about, where the combinations play an absolute key role.
It was a very nice feed then, though.
And with his positioning, part of that it'll be coming back to him. That bit of muscle memory, having some time out from the game, remembering where to actually get himself in the best position for his feeders. And where he's got a hand up saying, I want it here. Where is here? Superb hand.
Lovely.
Deepak hoping for an obstruction there, but he stepped into that
in.
contest. And sometimes you say to players defensively, if in doubt, throw a hand up. You can often get a turnover. Much better positioning. Oh.
Thought that was going over there.
I thought that was going over as well, and I think Tim did for a moment there.
Just in rebound position.
As we're back to 3 goals with the centre pass, absolutely have to score here if they want to remain in this for the next quarter.
Great drive by Connor there. Front cut right.
That's what
to the
he's
post.
capable of, but we haven't seen much of
No,
it.
I feel like he needs to back himself a little bit more and go for those. I've seen it. He did that on me last week. So I feel like he can really step up in that space.
And that sort of move takes attention away from Tim because they're doubling on Tim Walker down there. So you've got to commit to something. And a penalty going against St. Therese, but getting the ball there for Junior Levi.
It's much better play, very direct again. When they're on, they have some very nice passages of play that St. Teresa's.
And they are finding each other a little bit better now. The time is coming, and I think that comes from Connor creating a bit more. More he's driving and punching through, as we spoke about earlier. The better opportunity. Oh, tough take, but well finished.
Not much you can do.
It was a bit of a force ball, but was taken. That's a better drive by Jaden
Very
Cowan.
direct. It's 2 in a row now where they'll really be able to connect to Jaden on circle edge and get a really good feeding position.
And finishes it. That brings them to 35, 2 goals down. Netblacks 37 with the centre pass, 22 seconds go. There's plenty of time for multiple goals depending on what penalties and calls come here. Netblacks in no rush, and nor should they be. With 7 seconds to go, want to stay in this contest. You don't want to be getting a call there, unfortunately. As the siren goes, and we do have the penalty for the shot. And we expect Junior to finish this off.
Oh.
And they finish with a layup, 38-35. That's the score we're sitting at 3/4 time here at State Netball Centre in the semi-final between St. Therese and Netblacks. A great fourth quarter coming up. We'll see you again shortly. Victoria and Australia in the 23s division. Oh,
Lovely
not
front.
enough too much. If a goaler has been missing a couple of shots, sometimes you're better off forcing them on.
No,
Such things
better
it
to
is a
stop
safety
play.
issue.
Need the mops though.
Oh, look, I don't think we get that glory. That was superbly kept in
Amazing effort there by Jaden.
versus Silver Ferns and Diamonds many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it is different in terms of what... And we do talk about the games being slightly different. And speaking
Quick
of the long
feed.
ball,
Oh,
Hendricks.
Falcon, but the timeouts that we're able to call. Or Riley just coming through. Timeouts that we're able to call. Or Riley just coming through.
A good grind out for 15 minutes. So there is something
International
about
netball.
watching teams play that, grind it out,
And
not
trying to
find
figure it out.
and not try and fight. Junior Levy back outside circle.
Nice hit there by Riley.
Ooh, just
With an
forcing it a
overfeed.
little bit too much
I
over
don't know
there.
if they've... I'm going to, of course, I go and say something and then they do a perfect feed. I don't think they
Where is he?
ball.
Where is
Yeah.
here?
Oh, that
Superb
was
hand.
lovely.
Deepak hoping for an obstruction there.
Us straight away. When we run and put a shoulder and they come into us, it's ours. We either run past them and we get the ball, or they actually call it our way. And you did some of those really well.
No, I reckon stick with it. Stick with it. Just stay upright. No. I reckon just, I see you gotta push and shove. Push and shove.
I think
You gotta do to them what they're doing to us. Like, why do they get to run all over us and we have to stand still and defend space? Like, it's clearly not getting called, so...
so. I've asked. So Jesse and Dee are going to sit back because we're not even getting it to the transverse line before we have to call them in. Okay, so there has to be cuts and drives. We can't just pass it laterally all the time because we're not getting anywhere. You've got to pass, drive, cut back, pass, drive. You've got to get down. You've got to get depth. Okay, so.
Welcome back to the final quarter of this deciding semi-final between Netblacks and St. Therese. Netblacks have held the lead for the entirety of the game, pretty much. They'll look at continuing that lead. They're currently 38-35. St. Therese have made the change of Tom Hardwick into goal attack. James Sutton has returned into wing defence. No changes for the Netblacks. Tim Walker there, able to score their first one, bring the margin to 2.
Oh, lovely chase up. Just no one there to back him up. It was really nice by James. And look at, he's straight back into it though, which I love to see.
And then Riley Richardson doing what he's known for, going for the second ball. James Sutton, it was absolute textbook for him. He's a very silent assassin at wing defence.
Not
But
quite able
need to
finish it
finish
off.
that.
Yeah.
You've got 2 turnover attempts for the 1 attempt to goal. Got to finish that to break your margin back down. And Netblacks recognising that and scoring quickly. This is a little bit of what St. Therese struggled with earlier, where there's a bit of staticness around the top of the circle and the edge. You need to make sure someone's still coming through and they're not just running wide channels. Bit better angle. 2 goals the margin.
Different technique there by Jake. Forgot his name for a second. Coming from behind instead of being in front. Nearly got his hand to it. Stayed in play, which is the positive.
And he created something slightly different there. You could see Junior wasn't completely aware of where he was that whole time. Eventually got there. That's a difficult ball as a goal defence when you're throwing your body backwards. It's hard to go through. People often think of footy with a front player contest. In netball, that's not the case. It's just the first possession, first hands in the ball. You're often not going to end up throwing your hands back into an attacker or be perceived as doing that. If you can, you want to go straight up. Just a little shuffle before the ball comes in to make sure he can get in position there, Junior. Sitting 41-38. That's 3 goals apiece for this quarter.
It's a coach killer. It's a break.
You cannot afford it. There's also no need for breaks. They're not pressuring the line in such a way that everyone needs to be up there. You can have space there. Just trying to create an angle there.
It's a nice chase up there by Riley.
It was,
good tip
absolutely.
and follow up. Get into shooting position. Trying to lift a little bit St. Teresa's here.
With the sweep from Tom Hardwick there, I'd like to see him get a little bit more depth on the sweep so he's not just presenting right on top of the player. That can help create a better option. Lovely take. Hedrick's trying to fly at the ball, unable to get there. And not holding in circle.
Another coach killer.
This is one that Riley does catch himself out on because he's so fast.
Yes.
He forgets that not holding in the circle works on when the umpire's whistle's gone, regardless of when you've been in the circle.
And do you need to have a foot planted in the circle? Is that
at the time the
part
whistle's
of the rule?
gone? Yes. And it's not difficult to do. You can still find speed to run on. Making that look a bit worse than it was. A lot going on down in this Netblacks end at the moment. Bit of confusion from both teams. Too.
Players throwing themselves at the ball and each other. Trying to create opportunities.
43-39. Centre pass. Netblacks way. There needs to be more pressure at that line. People are waiting for a call. It's a different setup. Completely different to what happened before. They need to see a bit more pressure at line. Deepak will control that if he's given every opportunity to.
He's going to have a shot.
The ball was going there as soon as that fall occurs. Bit of inexperience from Ronan Pring there. Whilst he has made our open side this year, which is great to see as a young fella, he's still quite young. So some of that experience will come. But also the talk needs to be there to indicate stay. Tell him something so he knows he's going.
That is hard as a younger player when you're playing with experienced, people. That talk and telling other people what to do, it can be hard if you're not a loud person to begin with. That comes with experience, like you said.
And often if you are that younger or less experienced defender, you've always had that more experienced one around who thinks it's their role more so, or you think it's their role, so it becomes harder. But something to try and encourage with all young defenders is just talk, even if it's saying something. We just see pretty much handed the ball there, Tom Hardwick. The short pass rule, which must do your head in as a defender now, with you can pretty much touch.
It's pretty much non-existent, I would have thought. Sometimes I get confused because I feel like, hang on, how am I supposed to get in the way of that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that rule will stay as it currently is when they do the World Netball rules changes.
I feel like they almost pass it to each other. Both have hands on the ball sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a curious one. 45-40, back out to that 5-goal margin. 9.5 minutes to go.
Bit of a Hail Mary pass there.
But it was good depth on it. A bit close to the circle. I was worried it was going to go in the circle edge. Not necessarily where you expected it. Lovely finish, Tim Walker. They just can't quite get it back from... They got it within 2. Been able to peg it down to anything close to that Netblacks having things
Oh,
right
that's
away.
a lovely
As I say that, Jake Hedrick's just getting
reward.
some great hands on the ball.
And that's what you got to do. You just can't give up. You just got to keep having a go. I find this myself sometimes. You just got to be in it. You got to be in it to win it. So he's been persistent. He's trying. He's missed a lot, but it's that one that you get. Let's hope that they can score off it down this end.
Which just falls short. Very strong rebound. Did you find that as a bit of a mindset change going through your juniors up until the adult programs as a defender, learning to just take every tip and opportunity as a win as opposed to that when the goalers get it in, it's a loss?
Yeah, and I think you do, like I said, you just have to be in the right position. And most of the time against these taller shooters, just force that ball then.
It was great effort by Riley Richardson then, without meaning to interrupt. But that ball did not need forcing.
No.
You get a turnover, go short, control.
Work at the circle edge.
And Riley Richardson letting Tom know, he's like, just work one more ball there. Work one more ball. That's all you need to do. These opportunities in these matches are great ones for learning cases. 4 players coming through.
It's a lovely baseline drive by Tom. He needs to sink
And
this
that
one.
finish.
He gets that one.
That's also what you like to see. You made a mistake just before, but you got straight back on with it with the next passage. You didn't let it... James Sutton trying to find out what he was holding with there.
I thought he was doing the opposite and actually saying that he was the one being contacted, but I think he was asking the umpire what he was doing wrong.
Unfortunately, starting to pick up whistle a little bit against St. Therese. Easy shot here for Junior Levi. And perhaps Sutton recognising that he's starting to get a little bit of whistle, getting it on top of him. They're making the change there. Tristan Comans returns into wing defence, which means they will lack some of the drive they had from James Sutton because Tristan's natural game is a bit more sit-off. Maybe a balk thrown in would be nice. Just waiting for something to open up. Heavily relying on the backspace at the moment.
I don't think Tom can rely on that backspace because the defenders are very good at getting back for that. So he needs to, if he's not being used, he needs to get out of that space and re-offer.
And choose your moments to use the backspace. The more you're coming forward and more you're coming around front, all of a sudden that backspace one will open up.
Oh,
Just mistimed that one, Ronan Pring.
it's a really good effort there, though. He
That
ran
one
his
was
feet
worth
through.
the attempt
Yeah.
compared to one from earlier, I must say. He timed that reasonably well. It was just unfortunate. Good hands there, Jaden Cowling. Still 4 goals to margin, 6 minutes to go.
He's just missed that one again. I love how he's having a go, though.
Oh, and couldn't quite stay on board. And I don't know that we say to people about balancing on the ball. I don't know if he would have been able to
I
balance on
don't
the
think
ball
so.
there.
I love that they're having a crack. They're obviously down. They need to get ball.
And that must have been the instruction, go on and have a crack. And with that, Netblacks are applying the pressure. They're crushing the line on that centre pass. Tupac Patu, Jesse Failer, both running down, clogging up, working a bit of a trap. Now, Tom Hardwick is looking good going to post. There might need to be the occasional offload there just to throw a bit of doubt and on the long ones. A lot of voices, except fell into the
Crowd are
hands.
getting into it now. Trying to lift their teams.
Punching through. Just caught a bit on the back foot there, Hedricks. He recognised it was coming, knew it had to be his attempt. Just unfortunately had body weight going backwards for a moment.
Probably should have backed out of that one just to stay in play, build the pressure. It's all right. He's having a go.
And that pushes us 49-44. 4.5 minutes to go in the final quarter of this semi-final, deciding who will be matching City Heat next week in the grand finals here at the State Netball Centre, and will be covered again on our social media through Netball Victoria and on KO Freebies. And we should take this opportunity to thank Netball Victoria for their support, not only in having you along our side here, Em, but in their support of getting this up and running for us, supporting us with the live streaming, because it does cost us a bit of money, unfortunately. And very happy to have them on board. They've always been supportive. Netball Victoria. Great finish. Tom Hardwick. 4 minutes to go. There is plenty of time for this last 4 goals. Difficult thing is getting that stop against those feeds. When it's played so beautiful, Junior's got so much experience on not using his arm to push off. He pretty much lets it go dead. It's hard
Often
to stop.
catches it with one hand, I've noticed also.
Yeah. Saw him make that conscious effort many years ago, back when he was representing the Australian side, that he'd been called for a few push-offs at times, and so he learned to drop that arm dead and really use the other. So if there's just no doubt in the mind of the umpire then, even if he hasn't pushed off originally, can't do it. Tim Walker getting a lovely finish. Still 4 goals. There's over 3 minutes, plenty of time. Nice little slow up there from Netblacks.
I was going to say, Netblacks are trying to hold it up. They're obviously in control of this game.
Just trying to force a way through. Kai Suzuki there, just caught up in it. I would not be sitting there begging for a towel just at the moment. I'd be getting on with grabbing the ball, then asking for the towel. You don't have the time to be fluffing it out. And in fact, hand the towel, to someone else.
Yeah.
Get one of your bench players to come and do it. Get down in position. As we just see a replay of Richardson beautifully positioning there to show that Suzuki was trying to drive through. No change of direction whatsoever. Ooh.
Oh, that was a lucky choice.
Worried
there.
about the played ball. But
smart decision, because you don't want to be called for that. So
I find with those ones as well, the more you think about it and make it look like it's something, the more the umpire's inclined to call it as well. 3 goals.
Jinx.
I will take you up on OME for that one. The double team just getting caught on the body. 2.5 minutes to go.
It's a risky ball, though. It's a 2-on-1.
Very risky ball.
I feel like they need to work that a little bit closer.
I'm not sure why that wasn't an offload. Whilst he's confident with the shot, the quick, easy offload, just get it in there. Will very lucky chase up the ball, yes. You've got 2 minutes to go. There's not enough time for you to
be fluffing around.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the appropriate word for coverage.
I was going to say something else, but I won't say that.
And again, Netblacks just taking their time. Very smart here. Don't need to rush. 2 goals the difference. Got to keep your distance. That's okay for a goal. The wing defence has been called.
You can see how the Netblacks are very slow in picking the ball up. They want to control
and
the
very
pace.
deliberately, let it run through my legs.
Here?
Smart.
Is it here?
Umpire Joel Owen being all on top of that.
They're playing
Got to get a
around.
turnover here to make sure you've scored again.
The thing is, when you're playing it around, you're also more... Can't think of the word that I'm going to say.
There's more chance of it being picked off. There's more chance of an intercept. Great take, Junior Levy. Just missed timing on the obstruction. Got a little bit short on their own print, but did get up for the contest.
To be able to get up there. He's not a super tall guy, especially against Junior, but he can jump.
3 goals, 10. That's another one
there,
Riley has to be very careful on. He's lucky not to get... They're not holding the circle.
Quick
Course
release
that ball.
there. Very nice take by Tim.
A superb take by Tim.
You want that from your players, ripping the ball in, even if it isn't a perfect pass. You want to see them ripping it in.
52 seconds. Time has been called. Gives the opportunity for this shot. Got to get it back.
Need to turn it over here, St. Therese, if they have any chance.
Kai Suzuki being smart. He did set that he was only going that pace earlier. Very Carissa Dolwood to throw back to the 90s. 38 seconds. Junior will take his time here. He has no reason not to. Pretends to rush back a little bit there just to score. 3 goals.
30 seconds.
There is time if they can score, but I think Netblacks are going to do just enough. Got to sink this one. Lovely jump and scores it.
Must turn over this. There's still time.
Umpires are all over it.
They need to be exceptionally quick to
There's got to be
turnover score.
Extremely quick turnover. Again. Got to attempt it very quickly. And there it is. There's not going to be enough time to score 2 goals, no. I don't think.
They need to go in.
That was a superb movement. Got to score and get it back.
It's going to be 1 goal of difference.
They at least attempted.
Super
That was
close.
a superb effort. But fantastic match. Netblacks coming away the victors 52-51. And some very vocal supporters
Someone's
for them.
going off over there. Someone's
They are
enjoying
very
it.
happy with that result, given how close it did get in that last little bit. It sat at that magic 5 for such a long time.
St. Teresa's did a really good job, but they just left it a little bit too late there to bring the energy and contest ball and score off it. They did have the opportunities, but they just left it a little bit too late then.
Yeah, they got their run on, but unfortunately you can't leave it quite as late as that. Fantastic result for Netblacks into the grand final against City Heat next week. And Mannix, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I was interesting, but I gave it a go.
You did
It's
give
all
it a go.
about trying,
I
right?
gave it a go. And look, we'll see if either of us get a call back for next year.
Probably not me. You might. I won't, but that's okay.
Thanks everyone for joining us on the coverage. Hope to see you again next week on KO, Cross Netball Victoria, or the Victorian Men's and Mixed Netball Association socials. Thank you and good night.
That does wonders as a defensive unit for Jake to get those early. Put the doubt wonders as a defensive unit for Jake to get those early. Put the doubt in the feeder's mind. Maybe not fancy footwork there to keep it in. Netblacks were able to get
Some
there.
good releases here from Netblacks.
Talked to her about it before. Tried to get a few names. I've forgotten already.
Did you
She, she doesn't want me going on the commentary and
give
giving
all of
all
the
the
secrets,
secrets.
continuing that partnership for a long time to come as
I
well?
hope so.
As in that moment, seeing the opportunity there, then Tom Hardwick, little sneaky pass off the post. Independent fixture with New Zealand.
How good was that to see as well?
Young boys get the opportunity to see idols grow up. They get to see the likes of the Brody Roberts. Great jump, Jake Schuster. And just rooming out there, Tom Hardwick.
Very nice rebound.
That wide channel sometimes go across a mess. We spoke about that last game. Well done, Nace Selby. Victoria and Australia in the 23s division. Oh,
Lovely
not
front.
enough.
See, they're doubling Connor there and leaving Tom out on his own, but he's been a very good.
Too much. If a goaler has been missing a couple of shots, sometimes you're better off forcing goals difference. Netblacks with the centre pass once again.
Oh,
Flipping
no.
on. So it seems
Better
it
to
is a
stop
safety
play.
issue.
Need the mops though.
Oh, look, I don't think we get that glory. That was superbly kept in
Amazing effort there by Jake.
versus Silver Ferns and Diamonds many years ago. And it is different in terms of what... And we do talk about the games being slightly different. And speaking
Quick
of the long
feed.
ball,
Oh,
Hendricks.
Falcon, but the timeouts that we're able to call. Oh, Riley just coming through. Timeouts that we're able to call. Oh, Riley just coming through.
A good grind out for 15 minutes. So there is something
International
about
netball.
watching teams play that grinded out
And
not
trying to
find
figure it out.
And not try and find shot. Junior Levy back outside circle.
Nice hit there by Riley.
Who was waiting for that pass to open. Can shoot himself more than capably.
Goes for the offload.
Ooh, just
Bit of an
forcing it a
overfeed.
little bit too much over the whole side. Is that part of your strategy for the Vixens to really build pressure?
I think so. And as soon as, that one player's out of play, it does release. I'm going to, of course, I go and say something and then they do a perfect feed. I don't think they'd... Fancy footwork there by Jake, but just still a 6-goal margin with 6 minutes to go.
Oh, forcing across the circle. Not quite
Unlucky.
Deepak pattern. Partly that goal with
Connection.
familiarity that we've spoken about, where the combinations play an absolute key role.
It was a very nice feed then, though.
Where is
Yeah.
here?
Oh, that
Superb
was
hand.
lovely.
Jack Junior to finish this off.
Oh,
Their first one, bring the margin to 2.
oh, lovely chase up. Just no one there. Different technique there by Jake. Forgot his name for a second. Coming from behind.
If you can, you want to go straight up. Just a little shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. They're not pressuring the line in such a way that everyone needs to be up there. That younger or less experienced defender, you've always had that more experienced one. We just see pretty much handed the ball
Beautiful
there,
shot
Tom
there,
Hart.
ball sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a curious one. 45-40. Been able to peg it down to anything close to that. Netblacks having things
Oh,
right
that's
away.
a
As
lovely, like I said, you just have to be in the right position, and most of the time against these taller shooters,
cases, 4 players coming through.
it's a lovely baseline drive by Tom. He needs to sink
And
this one.
that finish.
He gets that one.
Because Tristan's natural game is a bit more sit off.
Right, he's having a go.
And that pushes
Okay,
it.
Netblacks are trying to hold it up. They're obviously in control of this game.
Just trying to force a way through. I will take you up on OME for that one. The double. There's more
more
chance of an
chance of
intercept.
making a
Great
mistake.
take, Junior Levy. That was a superb movement. Got to score and get it back.
It's going to be 1 goal the difference.
Kill.
Oh,
Oh. They at least attempted. That
Super
was a
close.
superb effort. But fantastic match. Netblacks coming away the victors 52-51. And some very vocal supporters for
someone's
them.
going off over there. Someone's
They are
enjoying
very
it.
happy with that result, given how close it did get in that